What is up, gamers? M107 here, and Battlefield 2042 has reached a stage where people are finally trusting it enough to come back to the game or maybe even try it for the first time, but we all know what this game has been through. Lots of ups and downs, but Season 5 really settled things down and might even be a turning point that we speak about in the future. Like, hey, Season 5 was when Battlefield players finally embraced the game again, and it kept on going pretty well from there. With all the hell and high water Battlefield 2042 has been through, I believe it is still one of the best FPS games out there, at least right now with Season 5 still ongoing. But regardless of how good it is at the moment, the game's got a lot of potential to be way better. I mean, there are still some aspects lacking and hurting the experience. Today we're going to go over 5 things that can make Battlefield 2042 a better game. Before we start, make sure to hit that like button and let's get going. Starting off with number 1, we've got map design. I'm pretty sure you guys already know what map exactly do I want to talk about if you're into Battlefield 2042, so let's start with Hourglass. The one map that almost everyone hates, or at least it's not their favorite. Thinking of Hourglass, the first map that comes to mind is Silk Road, which was a part of China Rising expansion for Battlefield 4. Both maps are huge, with lots of sand and dunes, but what made Silk Road an unforgettable map was the mindset behind it. Keeping the balance between infantry and vehicles. Now, Silk Road was a gigantic map, but it wasn't like a desert with nothing in between the objectives. In other words, it wasn't similar to Hourglass. I remember there was a D objective in the middle of the map that was most of the times a place for infantry, while the vehicles were on the sands, destroying each other and holding the objectives around the map. Now, going back to Hourglass, there's this huge gap between the two sides of the map filled with sand and nothing more. You just gotta choose which side you want to play in for the whole match. It's truly a pointless endeavor trying to play the objectives because you're gonna be in a light vehicle the whole match just traveling from one side to another. Moving on, Reclaimed is a perfect balance when it comes to objectives. I believe they did a pretty good job regardless of how similar it is to Zavat 311, another Battlefield 4 map. Man, you can't just deny that. The two maps have a lot in common, but again, every time I play Reclaimed, I feel like there is hope for future maps because it is a solid one. On the other hand, having a remake version of old maps from previous Battlefield games is a good idea. Noshai Canals and Caspian Border from Battlefield 3, Arica and Valparaiso from Bad Company 2, they just feel great to play in. I think even Gulf of Oman is going to look amazing with that ridiculous sandstorm, and looking back at it, there are tons of maps worth being a part of Battlefield 2042. Number 2, we have Specialists. Now, I'm not a part of that tribe, just requesting to remove them once and for all because I believe the game is built around them. And at this point, it's too late to have a change as fundamental as removing the whole specialist thing. But at least they can try and make new specialists that are actually worth playing. Personally, when I play Engineer, I always play Boris. I believe Crawford is useless in most of the situations. Even Liz can't do much on her own. For support, Falk is just a full package. You've got ammunition, you've got a pistol that heals everyone, and there's really no need to play other specialists. Even Casper is way more useful than any other specialist in Recon class. That drone just gives him unlimited potential. Assault is the only class with a relative balance. All the specialists are worth playing considering different maps and playstyles, and I believe Season 6 needs to have a decent specialist to at least make you want to try it out. Some of them, such as Crawford, might even need a rework of some sort because I see a lot of people playing it thinking his gadget is cool, but countering him is so easy and the whole thing is just pointless. Compare that to Boris' sentry gun. It can engage with infantry, vehicles both on the ground and in the sky. It can be used as an early warning to stop people from killing you from behind. It can be set to distract vehicles while you hit them with a rocket launcher. It's really a multi-use gadget. But about Dozer, people were just crying about him being able to kill you from a mile away and stuff like that. I believe sometimes developers need to ignore some comments, you know. There's a dude who gets killed by Dozer 3 times in a match and he just gets triggered and starts crying about it. Nerfing a specialist to the point where it is useless and no one wants to play it is not helping. It just destroys the game. So I would say they need to be more cautious with nerfing specialists as well as buffing them. Number 3, we've got weapon stats, which could be confusing to most of us really. People want something straightforward when it comes to that because how else do they know what weapon best fits their playstyle, at least on paper? For example, we know that handling in Battlefield 2042 doesn't just stand for recoil control. Instead, it's a combination of how fast you can ADS with that weapon, how fast does it reload, and how hard it is to control the recoil. Even fire rate, I suppose, has a fair share. Firepower is also unknown, like people don't really know what it represents. Some people might think that it's some sort of an indicator for damage, but it sure isn't, and we know that, and this whole thing is a total mess if you ask me. There are hundreds of people asking this on the internet, and there's not a solid answer to any of this. Compared to Battlefield 4, where every stat was on point, Battlefield 2042 weapon stats, don't make sense, and it really needs to change. I believe we need a solid number for damage, or at least some kind of explanation about these stats so we know exactly what these numbers mean. I do think a separate tab for each weapon could be helpful, not only for basic stuff, but things like muzzle velocity, damage per distance, and things that truly play a role in players' decisions about playing a certain weapon. Number 4, we've got special events, and there is a lot to be discussed here. As you might know, I'm new to Battlefield 2042, and the best example for me to talk about is the Archangel Directive event. Now, I've made some videos about that. If you guys haven't watched them, I'll put them in the top right corner. Make sure to give them a look. But I just didn't like it for two simple reasons. First, it does not bring anything new to the table, which might be too much to ask. I mean, control mode is just capturing and holding objectives, which is much more fun to do in Conquest, to be honest. And the second reason is, control is just ridiculously chaotic. You won't believe how dumb it is until you actually play it. Even the new objective placements, aka map layout, is weird. The only map that control kind of makes sense and is fun to play in is Reclaimed, and I believe they completely designed it based on this map. Again, maybe it's too much to ask, but when speaking of special events, I expect some Rainbow Six Siege type of thing. Something that's different from the main game and it drags you away from that same old things for a few days. Maybe putting some more time and effort into this gets us better results, but there is one thing to be said here, and that is special events keep the game fun and alive, and having them every once in a while is nice. They just need a more creative approach. Last but not least, we've got game performance, which is a determining factor, especially for an FPS game. Now, from what I hear and read, people are okay with performance in Season 5, but I've experienced the open beta and that thing was a disaster. I do know that the game was trash in the first day release in terms of both PC and console performance, and the fact that things got better season by season is a relief, but the game still puts a stupid amount of pressure on CPUs, and that is something to be concerned about. Because with prices skyrocketing every day, people tend to spend the most amount of money on graphics cards, which makes sense, and the most of them lack on the CPU department, and I've seen people with mediocre CPUs suffering. Generally, the game has more potential for better optimization, and I hope we see some more improvements when Season 6 finally arrives. Maybe now is not the best time to talk about Warzone, but what's happening to that game right now is a noticeable decrease in performance after every season or even mid-season update, and that causes Warzone to lose players day after day. I just can't emphasize on this more. Maybe developers don't care as much about this topic, but believe it or not every person has a $3,000 PC build in their bedroom, and that's factual. With all that said, we've come to the end of this video. I tried to focus on more general topics and didn't go in depth, and I'm pretty sure you guys got a lot to say, so comment down below and tell me what you think. I promise you it is much appreciated and it might actually make a difference in the future of Battlefield franchise. Thanks for watching, and until next time, stay cool.